far beyond the line where trees can no longer grow, where the horizon seems endless and the air is sharp enough to cut the breath. The Arctic awakens. A pale light seeps through the edge of the frozen world, brushing against the ridges of ice and snow. Here, in this silence that feels almost sacred, life has learned to exist against impossible odds. The people of this land, the Inuit, have lived in harmony with it for thousands of years. Every gust of wind carries memory. Every sound, every silence speaks to them. They do not see the Arctic as cruel. To them, it is home. A home that demands respect, patience, and deep understanding. As the first light of dawn glows faintly on the ice, a group of hunters emerges from their small settlement. The air is brittle with cold, the temperature far below what most would consider survivable. Their breath forms slow clouds that drift and vanish into the endless white. The snow under their boots crunches rhythmically, like a slow heartbeat against the quiet world. For the Inuit, hunting is not just a means of food, it is identity, responsibility, and connection to ancestors who walk the same frozen ground. The whale hunt, in particular, stands as one of their oldest and most honored traditions. It is not done in anger or greed, but in reverence, in gratitude for the life that sustains life. Inside a wooden hut, warmed by a small oil lamp, the hunters prepare. They work in silence, tying ropes, checking the sleds, inspecting the harpoons. Each tool carries a story passed down through generations. The ropes are braided sealskin, tough and flexible. The harpoon tips gleam faintly in the amber light, sharpened to perfection. One young hunter runs his gloved hand along the cold metal. His father did the same before him, and his father before that. This ritual, repeated over centuries, links the present to the past, a chain of memory forged through survival. Outside, the dogs begin to bark, sensing movement and purpose. Their breath steams in the air as they paw impatiently at the snow. The hunters load the sleds, stacking gear carefully. There is no hurry, but every motion is deliberate. The journey will be long. The ice will test them. The eldest among them, a man whose face is carved by wind and years, steps forward. He raises his eyes toward the horizon where the ocean sleeps beneath the ice. For a moment there is nothing, just silence and cold. Then he speaks softly, almost to himself, words carried by the wind. It is a prayer, a promise to honor what they take. Soon, the sleds move. The dogs surge forward, ropes tightening, paws beating against snow. The rhythm is hypnotic, a steady glide across the frozen desert. The land stretches endlessly, blinding white under the early sun. The wind hums across the ice like the voice of the earth itself. Each mile they travel takes them deeper into the heart of the Arctic. The men speak little, conserving breath, conserving warmth. They read the land like a language, the way the snow lies, the cracks that form along the ice, the distant cry of a gull, all signs that tell them where the ocean breathes beneath their feet. They know that somewhere below this frozen surface, giants move. The whales, creatures older than memory, travel slowly beneath the ice, breathing through narrow holes in the frozen sea. To find them requires not only skill but patience, intuition, and a bond with the land that no book could ever teach. Hours pass. The light shifts, becoming softer, bluer. The ice begins to groan beneath the sleds, deep, resonant sounds like the voice of thunder sleeping. The hunters pause. One man kneels, pressing his gloved hand to the ground, listening. Beneath the thick layer of ice, water moves, slow and powerful. The sea speaks in murmurs. They know they are close as the sun arcs lower. The hunters make camp on a stretch of stable ice. They pitch small tents made from canvas and sealskin. Inside, the light of a small fire glows golden against the walls. The warmth is fragile but precious. They melt snow for tea, share pieces of dried fish, and let their bodies rest. Outside, the world is blue and silent. The wind dances softly around the tents. Above, the northern lights shimmer into being. Green and violet ribbons swirling across the dark sky. To the Inuit, this is not merely light. It is the dance of spirits, a reminder that life is vast, eternal, and connected. The hunters watch for a while, faces calm, eyes reflecting the glow. There is something humbling about being here. So small beneath the sky, yet so deeply a part of it. When morning comes again, the camp stirs to life. The temperature has dropped further, but the air feels clean and alive. The dogs stretch and shake frost from their fur. The men pack their gear and move toward the ocean's edge, where the ice meets open water. The sea here is not calm. It shifts restlessly beneath its frozen shell, cracking, breathing, sighing. The hunters approach with caution, spreading out, scanning for signs. They look for dark patches on the ice, thin spots where whales may rise to breathe. Time stretches. Hours pass in silence. Then one man raises his hand. A faint ripple disturbs the surface. A shadow moves beneath. A heartbeat passes. Then another. The hunters exchange a glance. They have seen what they came for. They move quietly, deliberately. There is no shouting, no chaos, only focus. The ropes are readied, the harpoons checked once more. The men position themselves around the breathing hole, the same way their ancestors did centuries ago. The young hunter's breath quickens, not in fear, but in awe. He feels the pulse of life beneath his feet, immense, ancient, powerful. When the whale surfaces, it will be for only a moment. Timing, precision, and respect are everything. The air is still. The world seems to hold its breath. The hunters wait. Then it happens. A faint movement, a swell beneath the ice, the deep sound of water parting. The whale breaks the surface for a single breath, exhaling mist into the frigid air. The hunters do not cheer. They simply act, as generations before them have done. The moment is brief. The silence returns. The sea calms once more. The men lower their head, not in exhaustion but in gratitude. To the Inuit, hunting is not about conquest. It is about balance, taking only what is needed, offering thanks for what is given. The whale provides not only food but fuel, tools, and warmth for the community. Every part of it is used, nothing wasted. In this frozen land, nothing could be more sacred. The hunters tie the sleds and begin their slow return toward home. The sun dips low, painting the horizon in fire and ice. The dogs move with steady rhythm, their breath rising in clouds. Behind them, the endless sea stretches in all directions, vast, cold, eternal. By the time they reach the village, night has fallen. The lamps glow warmly through the small windows of the huts. Children run to meet them, their laughter bright against the dark. Families gather. There is relief, gratitude, and quiet pride. Inside, food is shared. The smell of cooked meat and boiling broth fills the air. The hunters sit together, their faces illuminated by firelight, telling the story of the journey, of ice, silence, and the sea. For those who listen, it is more than a tale of survival. It is a lesson in patience, in humility, in the deep bond between humans and nature. Outside, the Arctic night wraps around the village. The wind hums softly, carrying the scent of salt and snow. Somewhere out on the frozen sea, another whale breathes, untouched, free, eternal. And so the cycle continues. For the Inuit, survival has never been about domination. It has always been about understanding, knowing when to move, when to wait, and when to give thanks. In this delicate balance, they find not only food, but meaning. And that meaning, passed from one generation to the next, keeps their spirit alive, even as the world around them changes. The ice may shift, the climate may warm, but the story of the hunt, the courage, the respect, the connection will endure. Because in the end, this is more than just a hunt. It is a relationship between man, sea, and the vast silence that binds them both.